so much.
Can't accept the loss, I'm hard-headed. There's a little bit of madness to my method. Many falling off that fine line that I'm treading. I risk anything to be great, and I'm not letting nobody rob me of my victory. Number one, that's what I'm meant to be. When by any means, only thing that makes sense to me, I can make nice or make history. I got that dog in me, yeah. Turn me up, big energy, got the crowd going nuts. I got that dog in me, yeah. I take on anyone, I don't need a one-on-one. Got that dog in me, yeah. I'm talking all bite, no bark. I could rip your squad apart. I got that dog in me, so what's up? Yeah. So what's up?
And how you doing? Of course, you look across from me right now and you're like, that's not Seth, but it isn't. Seth actually had to go off. He had to do some work things. It is what it is, and it is what it ain't. Now I got Isaac, who I've already had the pleasure of seeing earlier this week on the Cheesy Bear podcast. He agreed to come on last second. I appreciate that. And then you'll see me tomorrow on his show.
Yes, sir.
That's what we do. That's how we do it. How you doing, fellow podcast boy? Isaac, how you doing today, bud?
Oh, man, it was a long day, but it was fun. I got a workout in after work, too.
Is it starting to feel like a rock?
Hold on. I think it's starting to look a bit like a rock. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go. Look at that little egg.
Yeah, there's a little bit of definition there.
Man, look at that.
I did good today, too. No, man, it was a long day. I gave up my conference to help out this teacher, the other teacher I work with. She was out today, and I wanted the kids to hit the review, so I gave up my conference. It was like a blitz day. Teachers get a conference for a reason, because 7 classes and only 6, but only like an hour off total, and 30 of those minutes are with teachers is kind of insanely long. One of my buddies did that in Arizona, and he got paid extra, but I'm like, dude, I don't know if I could do that. It'd be brutal.
Yeah, no, and today, I mean, doing what I do is sometimes brutal too, but it's mostly because of who I work with sometimes. So,
and then so we can talk all the trash about them. And this isn't on my Facebook, so I can say that's all the fucking shit about them.
But it's on mine. So and some of them are on my Facebook page. But
maybe I shouldn't.
No, you're good. You're good. You could talk shit on mine about your people. I just won't talk shit about mine.
No, I actually love the people I work with. The teachers.
Hold up. What?
I'm not wearing the Jordan Love because he's trash. This is a Valenti Packer jersey. I was like, I'm going to represent Packers, but not Jordan Love because he's.
Is your name on the back?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, go for it. 62.
Anniversary date.
Oh, okay. I was like sitting there. I was like, why is it 62? Nice. I like that.
Yeah, my friend made it. It was almost more to ship it than to actually get the jersey. It was like 30 for the jersey or 35, and it was like 30 to ship it. So it really wasn't that bad. And then I won in that league this year, so that was pretty freaking cool. That was the league I won. So I made money.
It's amazing when you actually make money every now and then. And so
it's speaking of making money really fast, I made $100 off of the guy who's coming on tomorrow, that Undefeated Live. He was like, here's the most takes, whoever has the most takes over the weekend, and he's coming on the show tomorrow that you'll be on, mine. And I was like, oh, we'll bet. And his app crashes every 2 seconds, so it was brutal. But I won $100 off that too, so that's kind of fun.
Hey, there you go. I mean, the man makes hustle on his Twitter. In fact, everyone, if you see his Twitter feed right there, please, Isaac, I kind of already said that you're going to be, we were on the same show anyway on Monday or Tuesday. We're still flipping that around right now, but tell me.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to rotate.
Yeah, true. So, Friday, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, you can find me tomorrow night. I actually may be going on a different show. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But normally you can find me Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night we got a hell of a show. Jones for Jones is coming on. You're coming on. Jason, and then the creator of Undefeated Live, Art, who's a Dolphins fan. So we have a Dolphins, Cowboys, 2 Packers, and a Bear. That's a group right there.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to preview. I wish we could get some Ravens and Chiefs, but it's okay. we're gonna I want to talk heavy on that Ravens Bills game, but I want to talk about the Texans Chiefs if the Texans have any chance. I want to talk the Commanders Lions if they have a shot, and then obviously I think the Rams have a chance and are live against the Eagles. But we're gonna preview those games. It'll be fun.
So we're going to basically do the same thing that we're doing tonight.
Damn. So what am I gonna talk about tomorrow?
We'll just rehash it and just mix it back up. I mean,
Yeah, it will be fun.
Yeah, no, we'll be all right. It'll be different perspectives. I'll kind of just sit back, listen, and then I'll just hit people with questions or something like that. But so getting started on us, we're going to do a quick look back at what we saw in each game last week, and then I'm going to actually ask a question about basically who lost. And the first game that we want to touch up on, and it looked kind of ugly. We're going to touch up on the Chargers and the Texans. Tell me, how do you feel about what you watched?
That was, I talked it earlier, and I made a little short that I'm going to put on YouTube later. Dude, you know what was crazy about that? It was so reminiscent of last year. Don't you feel like, think back a year ago, almost everybody after that Brown season and the way Flacco looked were picking Browns in the wild card. We all thought the wheels would fall off, but some people, I can't remember what I picked, but I know a lot of people I'd talked to in the time. We had just started out podcasting together, me and you. That was our first month. But we were talking to people. I think one of us, I think it might have been me. I can't remember if it was me or you, but we picked Browns to go to the Super Bowl or to go to the conference championship.
That was definitely not me.
I think I had them as a dark horse. They weren't the team I was thinking that would get there. But when you list your tiers, they were like that dark horse, interesting team, and then they fell flat on their face, and it was just like the Chargers. And honestly, Flacco had a bad game last year. Herbert had a bad game this year. I think you just don't mess with the Texans in Houston on Wild Card Weekend.
No, and I mean, you look at what's going on, and you noted up that Herbert had a really bad game. There were 7 turnovers in this game altogether between the two teams, so it was a really sloppy game. Even though that score didn't really show that, but you also look at the fact that the Chargers only rushed 18 times for 50 yards. So when you sit there and you put that much pressure on a quarterback that already was struggling to begin with throughout the whole game, it felt like. It kind of multiplied, and it felt like he started to panic. And, after that, the first interception, it felt like you were watching the replacements when Keanu Reeves talks about you're in quicksand, and you just another bad thing happens, and a defense that at the time, when you're talking about the Chargers, which was number 1 in points against with only 18 points, just could not stop the Texans. And Joe Mixon just looked like Joe Mixon of old. He had 26 touches for 119 yards and 1 touchdown. So it was really neat to actually see the Texans play like that, but also at the same time, CJ Stroud did not look like the world beater that he was last year.
No, he didn't. And man, that's where my problem is do the Texans have a chance against this Chiefs defense? Can they score enough points? And can that defense play lights out? Because I don't feel like they're a defense that travels. I know that they probably could hold the Chiefs down, but I'm wondering how they're going to get more than like 20 points on this Chiefs defense. I could be totally wrong, and this could be a recipe for an upset. The Chiefs have been lackluster all season, but I don't know, dude. It's a totally different team. They are defensive driven right now. That wasn't their team last year, as good as Will Anderson was.
Well, go ahead.
No, D'Amico Ryans is just his fingerprints all over it, and their moves in free agency reflect it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they went and got Daniel Hunter from Minnesota. In fact, they switched defensive ends. Greenard went up to Minnesota, where Hunter came down to the Texans. It's kind of crazy how that happened, but no, Ryans he's legit, and he built that defense the way it is, and we'll talk a little bit more about how they were able to actually do it later on when we preview the Kansas City and Texans game. But one question I have to ask you right now is, what does the Chargers need to do to help get the pressure off Justin Herbert so he doesn't force the flow of the game.
I would still do one of two things: either go get him a bona fide running back or a tight end. Don't you think? Remember Antonio Gates, how legit he was, and LaDainian Tomlinson? That team they were both special. If you can get anything resembling one of those two or both, I don't even know if they need another receiver. I mean, they do, but I think running back and tight end should be their priority on offense. And then we'll be able to find out if Herbert has it, because right now he looks like he is that. Didn't you like what I'm just saying? Sports said on Monday. You remember what he said about Herbert? Ooh,
here we go.
Sorry, I won't throw up comments. That's not my job. It's your show.
No, you're good. We're good.
It's my boy, Mr. First Down. What's up, dude? Look at that.
We need to bring you on my show too one day.
Yes, you do.
All the shows. 3 shows right here. Come on, Mr. First Down. Come and see us. Come
join us, dude.
I like that. Like you just said, they need to actually bring in, and this is something you talked about off the air. I already said that they need to get another bona fide running back. J.K. Dobbins was a hell of fine as far as free agency was concerned this past season, but he's always hurt. And in fact, he got hurt, and it just seemed like their running game just stalled after that. Gus Edwards is not the other dude. So if they were to actually go into this draft, maybe pick up someone like Singleton or just say Judkins from OSU. And there is two tight ends that I like, Gunnar Helms from Texas and also Allen from Penn State, that could actually fill that bill that you said as far as having that Antonio Gates type field. The great thing about that team back in the day is that they couldn't really stack up on the offensive line to stop one or the other. They kind of had to pick their poison. And I agree with you. Justin Herbert, his mystique did take a hit, but at the same time, I still think he's a possible top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Question for you. Who are those names? Because I'm just starting my scouting. You said Gunnar Helm, and who was the other one?
I can't remember his first name, but he is the tight end for Penn State. His last name's Allen.
Tyler Warren, right?
Oh, Tyler Warren. So I wasn't even close on the list.
No, you're good. I'm looking at a list. It's not fair. I'm hearing, people like him. They don't like his change of direction, but this dude, they like his physical attributes. He's 30.
The only direction he needs to do is go up. That's it.
He's 31st on the big board, so he could be a first rounder.
As a married man, and congratulations on your child, by the way. I do as I am told as well.
He's a follower. Ooh. Well, we're going to bring you on very soon, sir. I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
Most definitely.
I had a blast with you. So, and Millie, that was a combo. I want to do a show, Med, with you and Millie and Mr. First Down. We need to make that happen. Maybe if I can talk next week after the tooth, that'd be fun. Chargers can have Swift for 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Well, I mean,
how about a bag of peanuts?
Let's get an interior lineman first before we start jettisoning some playmakers on our team. But anyway, let's move on.
The other tight end. Do you like the Loveland kid really fast? By any chance? He's number 1 on PFFs for tight ends for the draft. When I pulled it up,
Michigan.
Loveland. Yeah.
He's solid, dude. He is really solid. He's definitely someone that I would keep an eye on. I haven't really looked into him too much, but I remember seeing him play last year, and I thought he was legit. And I mean, also at the same time, Michigan kind of fell off a little bit because of the whole thing. Of course, they beat OSU, and a lot of people feel that OSU is doing what they're doing because Michigan planted the flag in the middle of the shoe. So
I think so.
Yeah, no, definitely would piss me off too. But I got to look more into Loveland, but I could tell you that Warren is the real deal. I've watched him watch some highlights on him.
What running backs do you like fast? I don't want to steal. I'm just curious who you like.
So, of course, Gene T from Boise State. Everyone loves him right now. A lot of people feel like he's going to go to Dallas. I also like the dual threat that is Tyvon Henderson and Quandon Judkins from Ohio State. I like Singleton from Penn State. And there was one more that I was kind of keeping an eye on. So
Henderson, OSU,
yeah.
Ohio State,
Ohio State.
Judkins.
He has game breaking. Scatterbox. Scatabo from I know I just
Oh, him.
mispronounced it, but from Arizona State as well. I like him.
That'd be that. There you go. There's some moves. I agree. I think that's what the Chargers got to do. I mean, I do think they could use another receiver too, but it's hard to fill all those holes on offense. I'd prioritize running back and tight end because Will Disley didn't do Justin Herbert any favorites in that game.
No, he didn't.
Get him.
Well, he wasn't going to be the guy. They really just need to have more weapons outside of Ladd McConkey and Justin Herbert. Let's just be real. So
yes, they do.
But
it came to light in that game for sure.
Yes, it did. One team that does not need weapons, though, is the Baltimore Ravens, as they basically just shellacked the Steelers. It was 21-0 at halftime, and at one point there was a drive where they had 13 straight runs for a touchdown. It was bad. It was, it really made you realize how far the Pittsburgh Steelers have fallen. We got the question that I can ask a little bit later, but you look at the total domination. The Ravens had 29 first downs. Like they just didn't give up the ball. They had almost 40 minutes of time of possession. Russell Wilson, he did okay, but it wasn't enough, and they weren't able to actually run. 11 rushes, 29 yards, completely against what Arthur Smith, as offensive coordinator for the Steelers, has done in the past. Henry set a record on their ass for 186 yards by himself against Pittsburgh, a playoff record. And you did notice that Zay Flowers was not there, but it didn't matter because that double-headed dragon of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry just stole the show. What's your thoughts on that?
I like Mike Tomlin, and I know it can't all be on him. Ouch, man. Here's the problem. When the announcers, I got to get a pillow. When the announcers are questioning the effort on defense, I think it's time for Tomlin to go. Don't you think?
No. That's so.
That's my problem.
Once I get to the question, and it'll make sense to the viewers why I don't really want to answer that just yet.
Yeah, it was sad, dude. It really was. Like, here's the other problem. You can tell how far and away the Steelers are from being a legit contender. Now, I'm not dreaming here and saying the Packers have holes, but I think that they're a lot closer in the NFC, and the Vikings are than the Steelers in the AFC. It feels almost like an ocean. It really does.
And I agree with that. You look at what they have as far as their receivers go. The best receiver, as far as receptions wise, was Fairmouth, who had 65 receptions. You had George Pickens, who had 109 targets and only 56 receptions. You also your two running backs are in the top 4 of your receiving. I mean, that's not a good go. You need to have that extra person right there. Maybe someone like Burton III from Mizzou, or you're sitting there like, man, I have been looking at stuff.
No, I'm impressed because this weekend I'm going to start my scouting, and I may do a mock.
I've already started doing it.
Have you done any mocks yet?
Not yet.
Or just you're doing your pre-research? Gotcha.
But I'm just basically getting names out. But you look at what, as far as defense goes, you already know TJ Watt's there. Highsmith was just kind of neutralized. Peyton Wilson, who was pretty banged up from NC State, he was there, but I think he ended up getting hurt a little bit. Fitzpatrick, you can only do so much when you got a 260-pound Derrick Henry cramming the ball down your throat.
Boom. Derrick Henry been lifting them weights.
Oh, yes. In fact, I saw him talking to Jake from State Farm about that, too. I mean, he was doing his home and auto right there on the field.
I'm on Ned's show. I just do what I'm told, man.
Yeah, this is a different show. If it was on Cheesy Bear, he would have probably already explained something for 4 minutes now.
I'm also trying to pass it to my co-host more because he knows his stuff. That's funny. That's good. I like that. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think Mike Tomlin took control of the team and wanted to go defense oriented after they didn't make a run when they had Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Big Ben when he was still solid but not amazing, but he was still pretty good. Do you think when it didn't work, he was like, okay, I'm gonna go defense?
Mhm.
Hey,
No.
I'm working on it, man. See, I'm taking your advice. So, but do you think that was what happened, or do you think they just Antonio Brown went nuts, Bell fizzled out, and they just haven't found replacements because those are special players?
I think it's more or less the luck that they've had on the draft and players in general. You look at what happened to Dante Johnson, who kind of
Oh,
just
yeah,
flipped his
dude.
lid, went all diva, and now is on, I think, his 4th team in the past year.
He's pulling
Kenny
a
Pickett didn't do diddly
yeah.
poo when
Who's
he
the other
was.
guy? Oh man, who's that dude who ended up on your team who sucks? Is he even in the league? I
Oh,
can't
he's
remember
still
his
in the
name.
league. He's
What's
still in
his
the league.
name?
And I'm just saying, wants him to go to the
Oh
Giants, Justin Fields. But Justin Fields
no,
actually all right.
the,
But the
the
problem with Justin
receiver,
Fields,
the
the problem
receiver
with
that gets
Justin, I'm about
traded.
to mute you.
Oh,
I'm about to mute you. Um, yeah, the thing with Justin Fields is if he's like a pick your poison in that way, you're going to either have a really great run team or you're going to have a really sorry passing team. So
yeah.
let's just be real. So go ahead now, Isaac.
No, I can't remember his name. That's what was bugging me. It's that crap receiver who got traded to y'all. I'm sorry. It was.
Oh, you mean
It was
Chase
yes,
Claypool?
yes. Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry. It was stuck in my brain. I couldn't remember his name, but they whiffed on that pick too. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted. I was
No, you
stuck
mean.
on the name, man. It was one of those. It was like, but he's been on how many teams? 5 teams.
Now 4 because he went down to Miami. So I kind of disagree with Mike Tomlin sucking as a head coach, and the main reason why, and this will actually segue into this question, is Pittsburgh in the NFL purgatory, in that they don't suck and make the playoffs, but they are one and done every year, basically making them to where they don't really get that high draft pick. The last top 10 draft pick they had, guess who it was? Take a stab in the dark.
It must have been when right after either it was probably Big Ben
Early
or
2000s.
it was probably late Bill Cowher, or probably 2001 or 2.
Plexico Burress picked at the 8th pick.
2003 draft.
Yep. So think about that. That is 22 years in which they have not had top tier talent come in to actually refurbish them. Since then, Kenny Pickett, who was a 20-something plus pick, was their quarterback outside of Ben Roethlisberger, who they got with the 11th pick in the 2006 draft, which also had Eli Manning.
And I apologize for interrupting because I was trying to prove Mr. First Down wrong. I was stuck on the name. I'm sorry about that. But no, dude, I'm with you. It's not Tomlin, but they need to. You need to suck every once in a while and get that pick, even if you whiff on it, because you're not going to whiff on every. This is not a snake draft like fantasy. You get if you're the 5th pick, you get the 5th pick every single round. It makes such a difference. You're not going to whiff over and over and over. So that's the problem is they can't. Tomlin's good enough to coach up the defense and get the most out of the offense, but that's just going to get you 9 or 10 wins a year.
No, and I agree with that. There's going to be, you just need to do what Joel Embiid said one time and just trust the process. Embrace the tank.
I would trade Tomlin. I know this sucks, but if you're not going to fire him, a team like, say Dallas, they may love Kellen Moore, but would they trade for Mike Tomlin? I don't know if Jerry would do that because you know Jerry's not interested in winning. He's interested in headlines and money, and people feed him, and that's why.
That. I mean, shit. Look at the house that Jerry built.
Oh man, dude, I've been there too, and
is it nice?
you could just live in that stadium. You'd be set.
Taj Mahal.
But no, they gotta suck, man. They really do.
They do. They need to just bite the bullet one day, get rid of some of these high-priced guys. Go ahead and let TJ Watt go somewhere else to win a Super Bowl because it's not happening in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Dad. And just suck. Just embrace the suck.
Trade them and get your picks and help get this rebuild going.
Because George Pickens is not a number 1 receiver. There, I said it.
I know you're going to say it later on, but they're in a worse spot than the Vikings quarterback-wise because they don't have – I'm sorry, maybe Fields if they gave him time, but it's not Russ. So they either need to go Fields or draft a kid.
So interesting rumor about that. I've heard a rumor that Sam Darnold would be one of the top landing spots for as far as Pittsburgh's concerned.
Okay, well, they need weapons. I like that a lot better for him than the Jets. We talked about it earlier on the phone. I don't want Darnold to go back to the Jets. I just don't.
No, I agree with you right there, Damien. We need another person on the other side of Montez Sweat so we could plant people in our division. We'll just say that so we don't go on tangents.
Can I just get a pass rusher? One, let alone two? Damn.
And you got Rashad Gary.
Yeah, you're right. He's a good number two. I need a number one.
Yeah, you need a real deal. Segueing into the next game, of course, all the AFC games were kind of like blowouts. If you really look at this, I mean, it's just unreal right now. Definitely shows the upper tier of the teams and everything. Bills Broncos, congratulations, Bills Mafia. Made out.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, time of possession. This outside the first drive of the Broncos, where they threw that deep ball. Bo Nix looked great in the first drive. He actually didn't play bad at all. It's just that the Bills were just too much. They held on to the ball. They were able to run just like shit through a goose. Time of possession, almost 42 minutes. 42 minutes of the game, Bills had the ball. If I was a Broncos fan, I'd be pissed. James Cook, 23 carries, 120 yards, 1 touchdown. The most impressive touchdown I've seen in a long time was Ty Johnson getting that one catch right before halftime, one arm in it like a beast.
And he's a running back.
Yeah.
That's
he's going to be a free agent next year.
Their receiving backs in Buffalo are so underrated, dude. Mm-hmm. Damn, man. You're cooking, man. Keep cooking.
And, I'm looking at this and I'm, at the time that we were actually talking about this, the Bills got 210 yards rushing. Denver was ranked number 3 at that time. Mm-hmm. And they just basically just put the boots to that ass. It was unreal. And, you look at what Bo Nix was able to do, who I think has a chance to challenge Jaden Daniels for the offensive rookie of the year for, well, they'll both get it most likely because they have it on each conference. But, 2 for 9 on third down conversions is what the Broncos did. They didn't do squat outside that first drive. What's your thoughts on this game?
The Bills showed them who their daddy is. They showed them there's levels to this, and they're not on that level. They're not. The Chargers weren't either, apparently. But the Bills were like, hey, congratulations, making the playoffs. Sean Payton did a damn good job. I'm impressed. He's definitely a good head coach. We need to stop questioning that.
But Daddy's home.
But Daddy's home. And I'm going to quote How I Met Your Mother. Daddy's home. And I think the Ravens might be in for a rough day too. I actually am picking the Bills this weekend. We'll get to that later. But
yeah,
dude, the Broncos, they are on their way. I like Bo Nix. Also, just got to say, if you were a voter and you had 3 choices, I'm going to toss you a fast question. Would you vote for Brock Bowers, Bo Nix, or Jaden Daniels? Because I would have given it to Brock Bowers.
And I like that because Brock Bowers was able to do some kind of magic for the tight end position. I mean, he the most receptions by a receiver, a rookie of all time, most yards, most touch. I mean, he blew it up. But I mean, it's
quarterbacks.
That's a tough one. Oh yeah, no, you're talking about Uncle Rico and AOC. Oh my God, the Raiders are talking about running it back. Darnold is also being mentioned with the Raiders too, by the way.
Hey, that's better for him because he's got Bowers.
But he don't have anything else.
No, I know the Raiders. Like I heard it today, and it's true.
Booty.
The Raiders are the worst franchise in the NFL. The worst. Look at that division. Like okay. I'd rather be the Bears than the Raiders.
Easy.
But look at the divisions they're in. The AFC West is stacked with Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. The NFC North is a juggernaut too, but the AFC West has defenses, and it has 3. I mean, I know the Chargers and Broncos got bounced in the first, but you got 3 teams that are going to compete for the playoffs every year, and then you've got the Raiders.
Could you imagine being the coach that has to actually go to the Raiders and you're coaching against Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton? I mean,
if I was a head coach candidate And I only said the Bears because the Bears still have prestige. They have the 80s. They have their history to fall back on. I know the Raiders have some history with Madden, but it's been tainted so bad over the last 40 years that I would, if I was a head coach, I would just stay as if I was Ben Johnson, I would just stay as a coordinator with the Lions over taking the Jets or Raiders jobs. No joke.
Well, Aaron Glenn
I
wants to take the Jets job.
Let him take it.
Yeah.
Let him take it.
See you later, brother. I'm
Good
going
luck,
to go
buddy.
to I'm going to go to a team that has an offensive output.
And I wasn't trying to call on the Bears. It's just they're in a tough division too. It's a tough spot. The Packers with it this year. We were 1-5 in the division.
But you also ain't coaching up against the 3-time world champion the last 4 years. And you look at what you already knew Jim Harbaugh was going to be able to do what he did. Shit, he did it with San Francisco. And then you look at what, I hate to say this, Mr. First Down, but I think the worst team, and Damon, you're my best commenter, by the way.
Oh, I love him. He hops on both our shows now, and it's freaking gold.
He's like our number one dude.
This one makes me laugh.
I love them Bear fans. But, it's a toss-up, in my opinion, for the worst franchise. You got the Browns, you got the Raiders, and you got the Titans.
Who's the NFC team? You think it's the Saints?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I
think so. Even with the division
team,
I agree.
That it's like Katrina never left the Superdome, and it's just sitting there just blowing that shit all over the place. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's just they need to fix that cap too. That's why they're there. If they didn't have to get the cap hell, we wouldn't think of them living in Chicago.
I don't live in Chicago. I live in South Carolina, where it's hot as a bitch during the summer. So
it's really nice right now, though. But
no, it's still like 25 degrees here, dude, and we're on the coast. So I mean, it's cold as shit. So
we have another day 20 next week. Just to give you the number, because I was looking at your notes, I'd go an 8. I was impressed, maybe even a 9, dude. To do that with a rookie running quarterback with just a subpar.
Oh, we did. I didn't even ask the question, but I like it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oops.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how high would you rate this season and the job that Sean Payton did as the head coach?
Well, I'll toss it back at you. What would you give it? It's because I stole your question.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I'll go 8 just because of. I love Cortland Sutton, but they didn't have another legit weapon. Troy Franklin didn't pan. Their tight ends are meh. The running game was the running back by committee. That was, Peyton's going to have a. It was 16th. It was middle pack, but he coached Bo Nix up and got that defense to legit. And I know it was, Vance Joseph. But
I was going to say Vance Joseph got that defense up.
He did, but it takes a good coach to know the right coordinators. So he deserves, even though it's obviously Vance Joseph, he deserves credit for getting the guys in the right spots. That's what Matt LaFleur sucked at before this season. So I'm going to go an 8.5. I'm pretty impressed.
I could actually go. I'm going to go with a 9 because he won some very big games against some top-notch other teams. And I mean, it was the 4th rated schedule as far as like that division is concerned. They play him the 4th place schedule, but still. Also thought that they would be ass this season, and they end up turning around and being a playoff contender. So
they were a block field away from sweeping the Chiefs too. And the Chiefs back up.
I don't think they were going to sweep them in the playoffs.
Oh no, not so much.
No.
But hey, they get some weapons for Bo Nix. They may be even more further ahead of the Chargers, who've got some problems on defense and some aging dudes. At least the Broncos are younger. So, and I like Bo Nix.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to speed this up a little bit so we can get some of the predictions. We're at almost 35 minutes right now. I'd like to keep it an hour.
All right, I'll be faster.
So going into the last reviews of the last game, we can talk a little bit about the Packers game if you want. I don't blame you if you don't want to.
It's therapeutic for me. I need to get this out of my system.
All right. Well, you're going to have I'll give you 15-second rant on Jordan Love after I tell you that in the 3 playoff games or the 2 playoff losses, he has thrown 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the past 2. And you look at every single offensive stat, the Packers actually won the game. If you're to just look at the stats, time of possession, they had an extra minute and 10 seconds, and Oh, wait. No, sorry. The Eagles had more time of possession, and they had more rushing yards. Everything else was Packers. It looked rough. What's your thoughts?
Just to make myself feel better, Jordan Love did have a really good game at Dallas. I'm
Last year.
I'm disappointed that the game was there for the taking and he couldn't rise to the occasion.
Mhm.
That's exactly how it feels. It wasn't just him. The offense, there was injuries late in the game, but he didn't rise to the occasion, dude. And here's the thing. I'm not going to just sell on the guy yet. I want to see more. But this game was there. The Eagles didn't really take it. We kind of just handed it to them. There was 4 takeaways, and we only lost by 12, and it was a 6-point game in the fourth. They could have ran away with that. Our defense kept us in it. Jacobs kept us in it. We didn't let Barkley get going until the fourth. But Jordan Love, we just needed a C- game, and he played a D-. That's all we needed. Touchdowns, or just don't throw picks and give us a chance. Take those 3 picks away. I know one was late. Those other 2 picks, if they don't happen, just don't do that, dude.
Yeah.
I need a guy that's not going to make mistakes. That's what I need.
It's hard to
We have
get
a good
over
team.
3 interceptions. I
It
mean,
is.
that's a
One was-
tough out.
It is, man. And Hurts didn't play a great game, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't turn the ball over.
No.
He threw touchdowns. He didn't throw picks.
And that was one of the other stats that, the Eagles actually had the plus on, was the fact that they had no turnovers.
No, I got to say the first one was bullshit, but you could take that one away, and we didn't do enough to take the game either. So I don't want to hear refs. I don't want to hear the ref excuse. We didn't play good enough offense to steal the game. Philly D's legit. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, though. That offense is going to have to play better than this.
We'll talk about
that. For sure. Sorry. For sure. Little bit more in love. I just want to see. Let's get him a number 1 weapon. Let's figure out what this guy has. We don't have the worst receiving core in the league, but we don't have anything resembling a 1. Sorry, Packer fans, we don't. Let's go get him.
No,
I don't think it's
the most evident thing right there. That was the most evident thing, because Jaden Reed was someone I thought that could be that guy. He's not that guy. He is Darnell Mooney when he was in Chicago. And
yes, that's
that's just, you need to have that number 1 receiver. I don't know if it's T. Higgins or, I know you like some T. Higgins. I'm not as big on T. Higgins as you are, but maybe.
I would rather get him than nothing, but I don't. Of all the options, he's probably like 4th or 5th on my list, dude. I would take him over what we have. Don't get me wrong, but he's injury prone. I think he can be a 1 when he's healthy, but I don't want another injury prone receiver. We already have one. We already have 2.
Got Watson. It would be a number 1.
Exactly. I don't want another injury prone dude. Go get a DK. See, here's what I would do. I would call on Devontae before I get T. Higgins, but he's not even number 1. I'd go call on DK and see if the Seahawks are willing to sell. That's the dude.
That's
Garrett Wilson. If Rodgers decides to come back and Wilson wants out, Garrett freaking Wilson. That's who they should call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else free agent wise is going to be available, but those are the dudes.
Keenan Allen.
I would take him over what we have. I just don't want to.
No, I mean, he catches. I mean, he doesn't run as fast as he used to, but Keenan Allen does pretty well. So, question: defense made strides, but do you think the Packers should target? Who do you think the Packers should target in upcoming free agency?
Who is Here's the problem: is that I gotta pull up the list.
There it is.
I want to get a.
AR-15.
I love how Higgins is 1. That's good. We don't need a safety. I know Javon Holland's going to be available. We don't need him. I don't know what that is. DJ Reed wouldn't be bad. We do need a corner, but I would go for defensive line. I'd go. Yeah, Allen Robinson. You're funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go for. They need pass rush. So I don't know which player. If they could pull off a trade, I mean, God, a Max Crosby or Myles Garrett would be a godsend. I'd give up picks. I'd trade Jair Alexander for these guys. They got to get a pass rusher, dude. I like the linebacking core. It's a solid. They could get another linebacker. They got to get themselves another pass rusher. But honestly, we're forgetting what the Packers built their Super Bowls on. You know this because the Bears did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get a space eater in the middle or a legit pass rusher. We won when we had a Reggie White. but we also had a Gilbert Brown. We won when we had Clay Matthews, but we also had BJ Raji. We need a space eater in the middle.
Some beef.
We need some beef, man, and then we need a pass rush. We need those two things. We get those two things, I think this defense could do it. I'd still like depth at corner, but that's what they need more than anything.
So, because we're running behind on time right now, I'm just going to ask the questions. Minnesota just got their ass handed to them. We'll just say that. Sam Darnold did not look really all that great. Should the Vikings re-sign Sam Darnold despite his struggles in the last 2 games?
I'm going to speed up my takes because I want to hear yours too, dude. If we have time later, I'd love to hear Packer answer. The Sam Darnold thing, we talked about earlier. I'm going to shock you here. I wouldn't pay anything over 40 for the dude for more than 1 season. And it's not because of belief in JJ. I wouldn't pony up with a lot of guaranteed money for more than 2 years until I see more of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Right off the top of my head, if I was like emotions aside and everything, I would actually keep him on for at least 1 more season. Give him like 30, like you said, $35 million for the year. Have JJ learn the system a little bit more, and then after this, let him do his thing. If he wants to go find more money out in free agency, by all means. You're already set pretty. You got JJ McCarthy ready in the wing. He had a year to actually learn the system. Just play it by ear. Maybe bring in Joe Flacco to kind of like mentor him a little bit. But, Sam Darnold, he did great. Awesome story. Cowboys about to ride off in the sunset. And And the last question that I actually had was for Tampa Bay because they are the one that lost, and the Rams. I mean, probably the best game in all the playoffs. By far. It was the best game. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield had a turnover that a lot of people are overlooking for some reason, but he turned the ball over at a key point late in the game. Rams come back, win the game. Stafford is Messiah again. Is it time for so the question is it time for the Buccaneers to let some of their most tenured players go, especially on that defense?
I wouldn't let Mike Evans go because he's special and he's the franchise, but it might be time to let Chris Godwin go. Mm-hmm. They do need to fix that D. I would try to rebuild it with some youth. I wouldn't let every veteran go, but I would rebuild the defense, and I'd let Chris Godwin go. They got the running game. Keep beefing up that O-line. They got McMillan, maybe in 1 more receiver, but I'd let Chris Godwin go, draft another kid in the first 4 rounds at receiver, and then you're set. And then I would start replenishing that defense, because if they build up this defense around Baker, dude, they could have a contender. I like Baker.
I love Baker. 41 touchdowns. Can't sneeze at that. And we'll get at your question in a second, Damien.
I like that.
But as far as that goes, I think like Levante David, he's coming up at 34 years old. I mean, which is ancient in NFL terms. And, it is what it is. I mean, your team is getting older. You do have Antonio Winfield, which is a great have on the backside of the defense. But you do need some other people that really kind of solidify. Got to get some new blood in there. Mike Evans, 33 years old. He's starting to get on his horse to go into the sunset. But yeah, no, they definitely they got Palmer and they got some other players that can really extend. Bucky Irvin looks amazing. But as far as like teams and everything, that's going to be Baker's team. Hopefully he ends his career there.
I hope so too.
Yeah, he needs to stay home.
He's the example of when you sign a dude, how well it can work at times. It's great because so many times these quarterback signings are failures. That's an example of how well it can go. Okay, I'm going to take a 20-second hiatus.
Gotta go pee. Taking that as a yes. So the question with Jordan Love playing the last 2 full seasons, and did they overpay him? I don't think they did. He went with the going rate. Now, has he been beat up a little bit? Yeah, I think that's more or less on the fact that the Packers decided to draft Jordan Morgan with their first round pick this past season, and he didn't really do anything. You got the team that's around him, and I think if he actually had a legitimate number 1 that could stay healthy, Christian Watson, and I think he's a decent. I wouldn't say he's up there with like Favre or Rodgers, but in my opinion, I think Jordan Love could could do some damage if he actually had a number one receiver. What you got there, Isaac?
Well, that was great. I went to the bathroom and now we're over 300 people. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thanks for
Number one
joining
receiver
us.
where? What was the question?
Jordan Love playing last 2 full seasons. Did the Packers overpay him?
Yes, but I doesn't mean I wouldn't. But I did ask the question. I still think they shouldn't have gone 55, but it was the market. I wish they hadn't gone over 50, but it is what it is. We paid him. We did overpay him though. Yeah, you need to have more of a body of work, and that's what we're talking about with Darnold. I wouldn't pay him over 50 for one good season, especially when the weight of those last 2 games was. It doesn't mean you don't pay him anything. It just he buckled, but so did Love. It was disappointing. Love didn't play great down the stretch. He sucked, for being honest. Not the entire season, but he wasn't great in games where we needed him to be in crunch time all season.
And with this, Bruce Aaron, I think his time, he's in his mid 70s at this point. And Todd Bowles, he's a good coach, but he's a defensive coach. So if they did bring someone back, bring someone that's offensive minded, bring Joe Brady down there. Yeah, Tom Brady brought you a Super Bowl. Why can't Joe Brady from the Buffalo Bills do the same thing?
Well, that's an interesting question. Can I ask really fast? Do you think the Bucs should let Bowles go?
You can after he just went. So Bowles kind of reminds me of Lovie Smith and the fact that the Bears let go of a defensive-minded coach. Good, wouldn't say great coach, but really good coach. And I think Todd Bowles is the same way, but also at the same time, you look at what he was handed. He did win the Super. No, wait, Bruce did.
Bowles came in after. He was the coordinator.
Yeah, he was the coordinator. But, I just think that he's – I wouldn't even say put him in the same quantity as Lovie Smith as far as that goes, because Lovie Smith turned the team around, to be honest. And loud Miami fan, I think that is – I'm looking at it. Let me zoom in real quick. Well, you're a Dolphins fan, or is that –
That's Dolphins.
That's a Marlins fan. Man,
is that Marlins? Look at
that is Marlins right there.
Yeah.
Hi.
It.
That's awesome.
What else? Did I miss anything else? You guys just talking Packers?
Just that one question right there. We kind of breezed through the 6. So now we're going to be previewing games.
Heck yes.
And we might run a little bit over, so you get a little OT for free.
Ooh,
which
OT.
you get this for free anyway. But
no, they paid so much money for this.
So much money. So we're going to start off with AFC. And what a lot of people feel is going to be the actual AFC championship game between the Baltimore Ravens and Bills. So the last time these two teams played was on September 29th, where the Bills just basically got curb stomped by the Ravens 35-10. This is a matchup of the two favorites to win this year's MVP award between Allen and Lamar. Buffalo is undefeated at 8-0. And second in points per game. Ravens are 6-3 in away games and is number 1 in rushing offense. I do have some 3 keys for both teams to win on at least 3 of these because I ran out of time. So Rams and Philly will just wing it. So
I like it.
So tell me what you got on this game, man.
Well, here's my thought is, and I'm about to plug the computer in a second here, but do you think this feels like such a legacy game for both dudes? I'm just wondering if I think it's going to, a lot of it's actually going to, the X factor here is going to be which running game is more effective, because the Bills lived through their running game, and I think everybody knows that's where the Ravens live too. They are more effective when they take the ball. And I know they want Jackson to be the hero, but they're more effective when they take the ball out of his hands and run through him and Derrick Henry on the ground game. And that's when they're unstoppable. And that's when you get the best out of Jackson as a passer, when it's situational and you're not having to lean on him. He's just such a better player when you do that.
No, and
this is sorry, God, you're good.
Oh no, I was going to say, well, when you're looking at the keys of the game and everything like that, I put out quite a bit. Derrick Henry is actually one of my keys. You have to give him that ball. You got to feed him. 24 carries, 199 yards, and a touchdown, and the 35-10 win that you just destroyed these guys on. Have Buffalo prove they can tackle the man. He's just huge. You got to be able to put pressure on. This is the keys for the Ravens. You got to be able to put pressure on Josh Allen. The main reason why they had 3 sacks and a fumble loss for him into making mistakes. I think this was the worst game he had all year. And
It was.
The pass defense for the Ravens, you know what the ranking is?
31st.
Boom, yeah. So if you put some pressure on Josh Allen, you can probably nullify and hopefully he doesn't tear you apart. This is going to be a game that it's going to be a war of attrition. It's probably a good way to put it. You got 2 teams that their defenses are not as good as advertised, and the offenses are a lot better. You look at the pass offense for Bills are 9th and 9th in pass and rush. You look at the Ravens, they're 7th in the pass, which kind of surprised me. First in the rush, which didn't surprise me. And you do have Zay Flowers coming back. You got to be able to, as far as the Ravens are concerned, you got to lock up James Cook, who had 239 touches for 1,267 yards and 18 touchdowns for the year. And for the Bills, just start off fast. You know, Baltimore is a team that cannot play from behind. They're not a team that can really, they're a team that wears you down, bust you up. Do not let Lamar Jackson come on the outside to do waggles or anything like that. You want to actually contain him, put that pressure on him, make him be a pocket passer. If you do that, you're going to probably win this game. But Buffalo's defense until last week against the Broncos did not really impress me. What's your thoughts?
Well, also the passing, I like looking at EPA and advanced stats because there's a reason the Ravens pass D is so low. There's garbage time stats.
Oh, yeah.
They're always ahead. Their EPA pass defense is 14th, but they're first in pass offense, first in rushing in EPA, and second in rush defense EPA. That is stupid. The Bills are they're 26th in pass EPA, so that's pretty much where they're actually at, but they're second in passing offense, 4th in rushing offense, 5th in rush D. It's going to be whichever rush D gives, but the pass defenses are the weaknesses of both rosters. I just think it's going to be tough to go to Buffalo and win, but this is such a legacy game, man. Whichever quarterback loses, if they don't play great, it's going to be frowned upon. And we're going to be talking about it on all these podcasts all off season. The media is going to be talking about it. It's one of both these dudes want to slay Mahomes. Now they got to slay the other dude first. This is big game. This is big time.
This is a game that you're definitely going to sit there and eat your nacho cheese with. That's for sure.
And we're going to remember this for a long time, unless both quarterbacks suck it up and it's all running game. If we're going to remember how these quarterbacks play, we are, dude.
No, I agree.
That's interesting on Todd Bowles because he won a playoff game last year and they played well in Detroit. So I'm not sure if I fully agree with that because Baker's great. So I want to see if they keep him. Let's see what happens. They're in a weak division. You never know. If they rebuild that defense, the Bucs could be a sneaky good team next year. They could easily win 11, 12 games in a terrible division if they rebuild the D. But back on the Baltimore Buffalo, dude, it's this is big, man. Because I think whoever wins this, I think this is the AFC Super Bowl. If we're right about the Chiefs, or one of these teams going to be able to go into KC and knock them off, it's going to be interesting.
We're going to find out because
I think so. I think they're better.
It's the Mahomes factor for me, and we'll go ahead and segue into Texan. Oh, wait, first, who's your pick? Who's your pick?
It was my computer. Sorry, it muted for a second. My computer's telling me to restart. I'm not doing it right now. What was your question?
So who's your pick for this game?
I'm gonna go Bills.
Or do you want to save that for tomorrow?
No, I'm gonna go Bills because we're gonna have 3 dudes on tomorrow. You know, Jason's gonna want to talk Packers. I got some stuff for tomorrow. I'll get some stuff.
Why does he want to talk about them? They lost.
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping we can just not. The Bills are going to win as home underdogs. I think that's going to fuel this fire. I think Josh Allen is going to figure this out. But I don't feel great about it. It's going to be tough.
Well, I will say that I think it's going to be the Ravens because I think they're just going to cram that ball down Buffalo's throat. I think they're going to do the same thing. You got Zay Flowers, their number 1 receiver, coming back. And I think
Mhm.
they're gonna. I think that doesn't really matter because I think they're just gonna cram the ball down Buffalo's throat.
I got one last question for you.
What
Do
you
you
got?
trust Harbaugh, or do you think it'll be next week where we question his play calling? Because that's what happened last year. There's my problem with Baltimore is they haven't done it recently, but they've done it this year where they lose these games they shouldn't, and it's because of mental mistakes and play calling and coaching. And then Lamar, they try to make him into a pocket passer.
So that what happened last year in the AFC Championship game, that was not on John Harbaugh. That was on Monken, who is their OC, their offensive coordinator. For some reason, the thing that got him to the big dance, the AFC Championship game, he just walked away from. And I think in a lot of ways, with Derrick Henry being there, you have that full-on trust that you're like, hey, I got Derrick Henry back here. I'm going to run him till I can't no more, till the wheels fall off. And hopefully he realizes what he has. He has the double-headed dragon of Jackson and Henry in that backfield. And this could be the biggest chance for Lamar Jackson to finally reach the Super Bowl. If he does not, and like you said, this is a legacy game. And if he wins, next week's going to be a legacy game. This has got to be the year that he does it. Because if he doesn't do it now, he'll never be able to do it.
There's a little more pressure on him. There's not quite as much on Allen because he hasn't won the Super Bowls, but it's like it's right there for Allen too. But you're right, it's all on Jackson.
No,
Do you want to hit that Bills? Do you think McDermott gets fired?
No, not after this season.
So either.
After this season, I mean, what, they won 13 games, and they were able to.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it will happen. Now, if anything, I think Joe Brady might move on, their offensive coordinator.
That's gonna suck
from the Bills. So I think that's going to happen because if you got Ben Johnson and you got Joe Brady right there with him. So that's me being personal on that one. And, that's what I think is going to happen.
I agree. Which game next, man?
We got Texans Chiefs. We're staying in the AFC.
Do you give them a chance? The Texans? A legit chance?
No.
I don't either.
I mean, you look at the stats and everything, and statistically, I mean, December 21st, KC beat them 27-19. Texans are 5-4 in away, and the Chiefs are 8-0 at home. I mean, Arrowhead is what it is. This is a matchup of quarterbacks with notable struggles this past season. Now, quick question for you: which one you think had the better season, Stroud or Mahomes? When you just think of two names,
Mahomes.
Mahomes actually had the better season, yes.
And not just statistically, but I think he did more with less. He had even with Stroud's weapons being banged up, he had a better running rusher for most of the season to mix in. He didn't have a better tight end. Kelsey is better still, but his receiving, as long as one of those dudes was healthy between Tank Dell, who was healthy most of the season until that bad injury at the end, Diggs was there for part of it, and they have Nico back, who still had 1,000 yards. That was better than any weapon Mahomes had, and he produced better stats because he's Mahomes. And this was a down year, and he still had 28 TDs.
Still did good. Still did good.
Mahomes, dude. Like somebody's gonna have to beat him. There's that lingering thing in me. It's like, is somebody gonna slay this dude, or is he gonna three-peat? It ain't gonna be the Texans. I'm sorry, unless that D just erupts. That is the only chance. They're gonna have to get turnovers. That's it.
Well, their pass defense is 6th, and the run defense is 11th. So it is going to be the Texans defense against Mahomes. And, like you said earlier, no cap stat, Mahomes didn't have 1,000-yard receiver this season.
No, we didn't. And they went 6-15-2.
Mm-hmm.
But their defense, the thing I question is the Chiefs' defense is a little more bend than it was last year. That's why I think they're going to struggle in the Super Bowl if they make it, or the conference championship. I just don't think the Texans are the team to exploit it, unfortunately. But the Texans do get after the passer, so if they can create hell for Mahomes, this could be an interesting slugfest defensively.
Yeah, they got two guys.
It could turn into that. It has the potential.
Definitely. They got two guys that can get after it with Daniel Hunter and, Willie Anderson Jr., which we talked about earlier. Just amazing duel there.
And the corner, Stingray, right? Is that his name?
Oh, Stingley. Jr. Yeah.
Dude,
no, he can lock him down. And, the thing is that there's a huge difference between Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, he's got that magic. He's 15-3. You know, he's going to be able to do some things that no one else can do. And, you know, as far as that goes, one of the keys that I said that KC needs to do is they need to go ahead and unleash Xavier Worthy. You got one of the fastest guys in the league. You know, it's 79 touches, 742 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He averages almost 10 yards per time each time he touches the ball. And
Get him the ball.
Give him the ball. Just give him the ball. You know, yes, Travis Kelce had 133 targets this season. No one's even close to him on that team. 97 receptions, but he's beat up. He's not the Travis Kelce.
Is he hurt?
Didn't say he was.
That's what I thought. I didn't hear about that.
But I mean, it is possible. And thank you, JD, for your comment.
What's that? Southern Fried Sports? Is that the name?
Oh,
that's cool.
Are you from the South? Like
where
me?
From, Dad? Drop a comment.
Yeah, please tell me where you're from. I'm from South Carolina.
I'm in Texas.
But other things that I had to say was, as far as the keys for KC, is you got to shadow Nico Collins. The dude just balled this past game, 7 grabs, 122 yards, a touchdown against a fairly decent Chargers team on defense, but the O-line for the Texans, they suck. 52 sacks. They suck.
They do.
And CJ Stroud, yes, a lot of people are like, man, he regressed. Why is he regressing? It's because his O-line sucked that bad. 52 times. You have a 300-pound man hit you 52 times, you're not going to like it.
Nope.
And as far as Houston's concerned, I said you got to feed Joe Mixon. You got to be able to try to actually go against the run defense of Kansas City, which is 8th in the league. Keep Stroud upright, which goes inside with the punish the offensive line, and keep Mahomes off balance. You got to throw some blitzes in there, just up the middle. Try to break that offensive line that's been so great in his whole career, protecting his ass. Once you do that, make him make some mistakes. Hopefully the refs don't get involved, but they will because it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
I know, I'm worried about that.
What's your ideas on this, man?
And this is what I'm going to do more of tomorrow, just so you can prep. I'm going to focus more on this weekend's games than the last, not to just avoid the Packers, but it's Friday. I want to preview the Saturday, Sunday, and we could talk a little college football championship and then some of the coaching stuff. So that's what you can expect tomorrow. So we'll I want to hit more of these games.
Yeah.
The Texans have to muck this up, and they have to create havoc and get field position if they can't get turnovers to win, or it's not going to happen. They have to. That's the only way they win this game. Like, Nico's going to have to bust out for Stroud is going to have a great game offensively if the defense doesn't to keep him in it. But I will say this, the Chiefs don't really win games like by a lot. So I think it's going to be a close game regardless, dude. Don't you think?
No, I agree with that.
They're an eke it out team. They eke it out. So I actually think the line, frankly, I know that people are like, ooh, Chiefs 8.5 in the playoffs because it's the Chiefs. Well, they haven't been that way all season. So I think it's going to be a touchdown or less game. I would bet the line. I would still bet the Chiefs to win, but I'd bet on the line. I don't think the Chiefs win by more than 8.5.
No, and I don't think it's going to happen either. But I will say that another no-cap stat is
I like the no-cap stat thing. Yeah.
CJ Stroud in playoff teams this year is 1-5 with 5 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Sounds like my boy. That's not good. Ouch, dude.
That's just your division. That's your division. That's wrong with your boy.
Yeah, no, my guy's got an excuse. Stroud does not. Oh man, although the AFC is stacked.
Yeah.
I gotta see it from the guy. Like, he's only his second year. This is the game. If you're gonna lose, go out swinging, play good. Because if he plays a B or higher game, they could steal this if the refs don't just hand it to the Chiefs. Yeah. You still think Mahomes is gonna figure it out and Jordan this thing and figure it out and win, but their offense isn't that great. If the Texans could figure out a way to get over 24, that's going to make it hard for the Chiefs against that Texans D probably to score points. Probably. It's the playoffs. It's the regular season stuff. Sometimes chuck it out the window because it doesn't happen. So
yeah, I agree. So who you got?
I'm going to go Chiefs, and I'll give a score on this one. I should have done the last one. I'll go Chiefs. I think it's going to be 27-23. A little higher scoring than I thought I was going to go, but I think it'll figure out a way to get there.
I will say that I'm going to go with the Chiefs too. In fact, they might be the team that I will choose for my eliminator at work. Although I just talked myself into the Ravens one too, but I like the Chiefs taking this one. They're not going to cover, and like you, I'll say 24-19.
That sounds probably closer, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like Nico's going to break one long one, but it'll only be one or two. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see what happens with OJ McDuffie. Moving into the NFC, we got the matchup a lot of people are really looking forward to. We got Jaden Daniels against Jared Goff. You got Washington, whose defense is surprisingly good outside their rush defense. Their rush defense ain't that good. But Detroit Lions, they're like band of brothers. There's a lot of wounded behind them. They're laid all out over there in the background. 15 people are on IR right now. 25 people are already hurt, but they just keep on chugging. They are embracing all grit, baby. And, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Jaden Daniels has the magic to win this game. All these notes right here. And I was like, you can hold on to the ball, hope for the best, get that time of possession, keep that offense off the field. But I think the key of the game is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. Dude was just amazing this year. Another stat that I just had when I was reading up on this. 302 touches this year.
Oof.
Almost 2,000 yards scrimmage and 20 touchdowns. This dude almost did what McCaffrey did last year, and where I was sitting there, I was like, this dude needs to I wanted McCaffrey to win the MVP, but man, just 2 years into the league and he's already doing this. It's amazing.
If they get Montgomery back, they're going to be so stupid stacked. The Lions. I don't know if he's coming back, but if Montgomery comes back, that Sonic and Knuckles thing, together they did things that Barry did. Shows you how incredible Barry was. But they were doing stuff that hadn't been done since Barry in Detroit individually. Dude, I'm with you though. I like Gibbs. I just feel like the Lions have too much on offense for this Commanders D. But Jaden Daniels is special. If he can get Scary Terry going and they get their running attack, if they can unleash their running attack on that Lions rush D, then we could have a game because the Lions pass D is 30th. They're better in EPA though. They are, if my thing loads,
that's garbage time though.
Yeah, they're actually 8th in pass D EPA. That's what you need to. That I like that better because when you just look at these, it's like you said, it's garbage time.
Yeah,
I still think the Lions. I just think the Lions have too much. I just do.
Yeah, no, they're definitely the team that
I'd lock them.
And I mean, to be honest, Damien, I asked. We both hope for the same thing. We don't want Mufasa to come back. We want Scar to just throw him into the wildebeest, but I just don't think it's going to happen. One of my keys.
That's funny.
One of my keys is just like, be physical against Detroit, but they are a physical team. Washington can be a physical team, but I just think it's too much. It's too much. This is going to be a brutal game to watch, in my opinion. I would pick them if I didn't have to pick someone next week, but I'm going to go Detroit on this. What's the spread by chance? Do you know?
It's 8.5. I do think there's a scenario, or 9.5. It's 9.5. They're the biggest spread of any team. They're bigger than the Chiefs. I do think there's a scenario that the Commanders figure out a way to make this close in a one-score game, but that is the best case scenario for them. It's 9.5. I think Dan Quinn's done a great job with this team, but he's going to need the absolute very best version of them to unleash this. But they have been on a roll, and there is a blueprint to beat the Lions. Score a shit ton of points. That's what the Bills did in Buffalo or in Detroit, and they've lost 2 in Detroit this year. They lost the Bucks too. So
let it go.
Jaden's gotta just go nuts. That's the only chance.
Well, the Bucks beat them because they were able to actually keep it close. They were able to get to Jared
Yes.
Goff, and that's one of the keys. You got to be able to put pressure on him. I mean, that offensive line is nasty, but if you put some pressure on Goff, he's going to do exactly what he's done in the past. I mean, not many other quarterbacks can throw 5 interceptions and still win a game.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen. But one thing I will say is, as far as the Washington, I believe that their defense is ranked 30th against the run.
Yeah, in EPA they're only 27th, and then pass.
Yeah. No, Gibbs is going to have a fucking field day. Yeah, it is what it is. So.
Oh wait, yeah, 30th against the run. Then they're 3rd against the pass, but if I look at EPA, they're 24th in pass D. So I'm like, the Commanders D, it's done solid, but this is going to be a test for them.
They're going to get smoked. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're going to. Detroit's going to cover, and they're going to cover. Probably double it up, actually, because I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I'm not going to be a gentleman about it, but I'm going to say 37-17, baby.
41-24.
See, you at least gave them 20 points, so.
Oh, I think they can get there. It might be garbage time, but they'll get there.
All right, so the real question is, who will go with it 4th down? You know Dan Campbell's going to do it on the first drive. That's if Washington stops him and 3 downs. So
I'm just curious, is there a challenger to the Lions in the NFC? Are the Eagles good enough? Are the Rams good enough? I don't think the Commanders are. This is going to be something. That would be interesting if they do something stupid that lingers into the conference championship. That'd be something. We'll find out, man.
So we'll go ahead and just talk about it. Let's talk about it. We got the Rams and Eagles. This will be our last one before we let you go tonight. And thank you, everybody, all 395 of y'all for joining Shots tonight.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, check out us again on Fun Football. We do have he has some guests coming up. Jones from Jones and for Sports, possibly Reg, and who else?
No, not Reg. Jones, Art from Undefeated Live.
Oh, nice.
And Jason. Yeah. Let's break some viewing records. We did awesome tonight. Let's clear 500 tomorrow. Join us tomorrow night. That'd be awesome.
I was going to say we have a different viewing record on Cheesy Bear. So
yeah, we do. When we hit 12, 14, 1400. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Dude, I got to say on this one really fast, I actually think the Rams have a chance. And it's not just because I'm being a homer with the Packers. I just don't believe in this Eagle offense outside of Saquon. I don't like their passing attack. If Stafford can get comfortable, I think there's a scenario that they actually can pull this out. This is, other than the Ravens game, it's the closest line. Ravens are favored by 1 on the road. The Eagles are favored by 6 in Philly. I'm not saying I'm picking the Rams. I'm getting close, though. I think it's going to be a game.
It's going to be a better game than what people think, because that defense for the Rams is just straight up legit. It's underrated. Don't have any notes on this, unfortunately. I ran out of time. Life happened. But life happens. Even though their stats say that they're not the best, I mean, according to the PFR, yards per game, they're 22nd and 20th as far as the Rams are concerned, which is a little bit of concern. But like you said earlier, the Eagles' offense looked like ass. Jalen Hurts definitely had rust on him. He was trying to chip it away. He didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't do shit either. 13 of 21, 134 yards, I believe, and 2 touchdowns. That's just going off memory, folks, because this is what I do sometimes. And, if you really want to look at it, Philadelphia has struggled a little bit on offense lately. Now, if I was Philadelphia, if you see Jalen Hurts doing that shit again, yank his ass out, put Terry and start flinging it down the field. Dude is legit. And, just put it in someone else's hands. If you don't want to put it in anyone else's hands, and, yes, the Eagles are screwed without Dean.
That's a big storyline too. Yeah.
I mean, Damien, I just wanted to applaud you.
You're fun, dude. You should come on one time.
You're getting you just there. Have a beer. I had applause at one time. I guess I took it off, but
we got to get that back on here. We need that applause.
We do. Until then,
our teams win. We just need applause every time the Packers or Bears win, and we need to feel good.
No, and that's why I said put Tanner McKee in, the guy from Stanford. Put him back in because he balled the 2 games that he played after Pickett's got his ribs busted. In fact, go and ship Pickett's off to like freaking Tennessee or the Browns or something.
I think this one just depends. The Eagles have been super tough to beat because of the defense and Saquon, but there's going to be snow and they can't stop Saquon. It's like you guys didn't even watch the last game they played. Oh, you're nice. Here's the deal. Yeah, you can give me the cold weather. Well, I've watched how Jalen Hurts plays in the snow too, dude. Not very good. Just saying. Jalen Hurts looks like straight ass. It just comes down to the Rams, man. Like, what team's going to show up? I know what I'm getting with the Eagles. I'm getting mediocre offense most of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I'm getting great defense. If that Rams D shows up and mucks this up, I like Stafford. I trust him better. And the weapons that he has more than Philly. But it just depends on it. It comes down to, can they score points on them? Rams have been a weird team. If Stafford gets hot, I like him. I still think the Eagles should be favored. But I'm actually going to shock here. I'm going to go ahead and I think the Rams are going to figure this one out. I don't trust Philly. There's something off. Saquon's going to have to go off on them. And I like the Rams. Their run D is not great, but I like their defensive line. Like, I actually think this is not a terrible matchup for them. The rush D is, I wish it was better, but they can get after the passer. And if they hit Hurts, they can muck this game up. It's weird. Their defense isn't great, but it's been playing solid. Really good. So, I don't know. This is a hard one to pick, actually. I don't really like Philly. I just don't. I think I'm going to say it again. I think they're extremely one-dimensional on offense. And while I like their D, they just lost some pieces. They're banged up now. I'm thinking Rams win this.
No, I actually like to pick and just to clarify, as far as the Rams game go, no, I did not really watch much of it, but I can tell you that if Baker Mayfield didn't fumble that ball in the fourth quarter, that they would have probably lost that game, and that you'd be talking about Bucks Eagles, not Rams Eagles. Also, at the same time, I also watched Jalen Hurts look like straight booty hole throughout the game.
He's a troll.
No, I'm not. Thomas is fine. I love trolls, but. No one can stop. Has anyone stopped Saquon other than the coach that benched him on the last game of the year so he couldn't break a record? Let's be real. 2,000 yards. He was amazing in 16 games. But yeah, no, I do like to pick, and Thomas does bring up a good point in the fact that you look at Stafford's career in cold weather games. He was a bowl. He played in a dome almost his whole career. Yeah, Detroit, and then he's now in SoFi over in L.A. So, I mean, but Jalen Hurts did not look good at all, and that's the big thing. If you can't pass the ball, you're going to run the ball, and eventually these are pros. Eventually it's going to get to the point where you can stop Saquon, and if you know they're going to run all the time,
1-8. But he has 14 TDs versus 11 picks. It's just a bad record. His completion percentage, 55, sucks. But 14 TDs, 11 picks, 75% chance of snow. That does favor Saquon. So that's interesting. Wow, Damien's something.
Damien. I like Damien.
Damien's hilarious, dude. I agree. The cold weather thing scares me, but I still trust Stafford more than Hurts. I just do.
I mean, he had to walk out in the cold weather up in Detroit, right?
I watched him in Green Bay when I was 38, and he threw us a pick 6, and we won the game. It was great.
I mean, it does bring up a decent point on that.
That damn it! I hate that. That's got me thinking. I'm still gonna go Rams. I don't know.
I'm gonna do an asterisk with mine.
If there's
Jalen Hurts plays like he did this past week, I'm going Rams.
Exactly.
But if the yank Jalen Hurts, like I think they should, and put in Tanner McKee, I'm going to go Eagles, because then it's the offense is wide open then.
They can't pay the guy they paid over $50 million to. They just can't do it. They're not going to do it. I agree with you. They should, but they ain't going to do it.
Jeffrey Lurie, you better fucking damn kiss my ass on that, because I'll sit there and I'd be like, look, you won a Super Bowl. You did pay him $50 million, but you know what? We're going to win.
Did you kiss your mother with that mouth? I thought this was a family-friendly show.
Oh, this is not a family-friendly show.
That's Cheesy Bear.
That's not a family-friendly show. Fun Football Podcast, that is the closest thing to a family-friendly show.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn about that.
Oh, I've learned. I'm gonna stop putting it on my Facebook. I'm just not doing it anymore.
Yeah. Not doing that.
I think that there is an easy blueprint here for the Eagles. Run Saquon, limit Jalen Hurts, do exactly what you did last game, and just shut down that Rams offense. The problem is the Rams offense, even in the cold, I don't think they're going to be as bad as we were. They have to score more points to win. That's where I think it's going to get dicey for Philly too. I'm going to go Rams in the upset. I think they'll win, muck it up. 2017, I'm going to grab the wife's charger, and then we can close. I'll be right back.
All right. You got to pee again?
No, wife needs charger.
Look at you doing what you're told. Well, that's pretty much does it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us, all 417 of you. And I do enjoy the comments. Damian, Thomas, loud Miami fan, JD Wyatt, shout out Mr. First Down, and tomorrow we'll be, I will be on Fun Football Podcast talking with 2 other dudes. Well, actually 3 other dudes. I won't be as prominent because most of the stuff that I discuss right now is what we'll be talking about tomorrow. And I want to hear what other people think. So if y'all want to just join in tomorrow on Fun Football Podcast, which he can tell you what time that starts, by all means, but every Thursday you'll find me here, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. And I just basically told him that, hey, you can meet me here. You can meet me on, well, we're still figuring out Cheesy Bear, but what time does your show start tomorrow, and tell them what is going on?
9 p.m. Eastern. Me and Med and Jason and Jones for Jones. He's a Cowboys fan, so I will toss him some coaching candidates. Med, if you want to prepare for that, we'll have fun with him on that, because I think it's a fun storyline with the Cowboys. And then we have Art, who created an app called Undefeated Live. It was a cool little take-a-thon contest he had this weekend that I won. That was fun. But he hopped on one of my spaces. He's, I believe, a Dolphins fan. Really nice dude. I haven't seen his face yet. But seems really cool, and I'm excited to bring him on. The 5 of us are going to have fun. We'll preview the divisional round. I want to talk coaches and maybe some closing thoughts on our teams in this season recap if we have time. With 5 people, you never know. So 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun. I may hop on Pete's show. I'm not sure if I'm going to dash before or not. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be good.
Oh, Pete can wait. I mean, this is
it's been a minute. I feel. Oh well, that was going to be before.
Oh, you mean tonight? Pete shows.
No, tomorrow. I was going to hop on Pete's before my show tomorrow, but I might go DoorDash. We'll see. So
make that money, bro. Anyway, folks, may the days be blessed with you, and y'all have a wonderful evening. See you next week, 7:15 Eastern. Peace.
Love you, Bears fans.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.